also built the first St Mark's Church in the Fields of London. So the bridge we're approaching, this is King's Bridge, designed by William Wilton and built in 1819. He also designed the parade wall at the front of the college.
All right.
You see in the city centre, at the front of King's College.
Tell me something. You say both land on both sides belong to the college, but not all the land on this side is functional, right? Clare's had something on. King's, they don't have anything. Oh, they had a garden. That's it.
Clare College, yeah, and King's College has the town right in the field.
Okay.
But not all of them have functional things on them.
All right. Okay.
So King's Bridge we're going under, the highest stone bridge built in Cambridge, and legally the only place you're still allowed to have a jewel. So on my left hand side here, this is the student accommodation of King's College. And you can see the chains and the shackles and the foot weldings on the wall on my left here, used by the men who worked here on the river, as they would stop and offer their services to the college, asking their fellow master if they had any linen for their wives or daughters to wash, which they would take care of at the top of the river at the mill. And they'd also trade vats of wine or cider or flour or coal, all the relevant materials the colleges required. Okay, I'll leave you to So the largest rooms of the accommodation are the bay windows here on my left. And we can appreciate the stone masonry work around this part of the accommodation as it's much older. Right next to it is the new accommodation added to the old in 1955. If you have a look on the edge of the building, you'll see how the limestone blocks very nearly match in colour. So the wall here on my left separating King's College from Queen's College, and this is Queen's College on both sides of the river.
This is a very modern one.
The building on my left here is the student accommodation of Queen's College, the Erasmus building, named after a Dutch astrologer in 1616. Erasmus was built by Sir Basil Spence in 1959 to 1960. The first modern building to be built along the river here. Unfortunately, Sir Basil Spence came to the woodland and smoked too much opium, as he believed the building reflected the woodland, but we can see it's a monstrosity, as it doesn't fit in with the surroundings of the building. Queen's College is the only college to have two modern buildings. The second one on my right here, the Cripps building, and the architect built two similar buildings on the river, one here and one further down the river at St John's College. The Cripps building on my right, a modern building, built in 1965. Unfortunately, the architect also got this horrible wrong. It meant it looks quite elegant and unique. It looks rather dull and grey, as if it's built from concrete. But it's actually built from granite. It's not built from marble.
Very dumb.
So on my left hand side here you can see the red brick part of the college, Queen's College. And this is the oldest building overviewing the River Cam, over 500 years old. It dates back to 1480. You can also see the smaller windows in the edge of the building, the space here. And that's where the saying daylight robbery extends from, window tax. If you're wealthy enough, you pay the college, and they will have a window put in for you. You just pay taxation on the amount of light that's in the size of your window.
So size of the window, not number of windows.
Yes.
Where did they hear that? In Belgium also they had that window tax.
Yes, yes.
They've got really small
The mathematical bridge here.
Of course, the bridge is
This is the only wooden bridge remaining on the River Cam.
It's called mathematical bridge. Why is it called mathematical bridge?
A lot of people are led to believe that Isaac Newton was involved with the design of building the bridge. However, he couldn't have been, as he died in 1727, and the bridge was built 22 years after his death in 1769. It was designed by William Etheridge, a fellow master who studied here at Queen's College. And after the return from his travels from the Far East Asia, he approached the students who studied here, James Essex. The builder of this bridge is James Essex, and you can see how the trigonometry and the nuts and bolts you see here on the bridge do not hold the bridge together. They merely hold all the wooden slats in the right location, as they are the weight-bearing parts of the bridge. So this is the third one in the same location. The first one was based on a circular design, but we can see how the geometric measurements and trigonometry have been used to build the mathematical bridge.
Which one?
The one which we passed.
Which one?
This one.
That's called the mathematical bridge.
Because it has a shape of various
Or
rectangles,
because Newton may or may not have been involved.
rectangles and things of that nature.
Mexico.
Sit down, you fall into the water. You fall into the water.
Mexico.
Fall into the water.
Portugal, sure.
Mexico.
Mosquito, sit down.
So as we're nearing King's College students' accommodation, you can see the bay windows facing us. In between the bay windows, the 3 rows crest, with the date that lies underneath, 1955, indicating when this was added to the much older students' accommodation, and only 4 years after the monstrosity here on my right. So it just goes to show, if you have the right tradesman or material, they can build any building of any age or era, as they managed to do here at King's College. Where often students have debates about who gets the nice one for using the larger rooms. It works in a merit system. Yeah, academically, if you do well, you're entitled to a larger room. And that always sets things nicely.
Which is the largest college of these?
College. Yeah.
Forwarding section.
Huh?
The 64 are familiar.
So here on my right hand side, the chains and shackles where the men were stocked with trade materials. These flat bottom boats also had another advantage, as the men were able to go to the shallower waters on my left here, and being a flat bottom boat they could go in as deep as possible to be able to harvest all the reeds and opium that grew wildly along the riverbank.
Okay.
Also giving the men the opportunity to catch any duck or geese that were caught in the thick breeze